As soon as I got out of that meeting, I called Tesfa and I was like, yo, I think you're gonna have to quit your job and come to Stony Brook, bro. We just have the opportunity of a lifetime. So, how did Island Soul by Jamaican Cafe start? Cool story. I used to be a student at Stony Brook University back in 2015, no, 2013. I stayed in Yang and I always cooked in Yang, right? But I still had a meal plan, and back then it was a whole union. There's a new union today, but back in the whole union, there was this burrito place that we went to. Me, my roommate Rico, and my sweet mate Andy. And while we were there eating this burrito, I just saw the disappointment in the food. What I was eating was falling apart. It didn't taste so great, and what they were eating was like, just not so good. So the idea literally struck me at the lunch table with Rico and Andy, and we decided that, you know what, let's start cooking and delivering to students on campus. The idea felt right, it felt great, there was a problem, clearly, and that was just the solution. So, I spoke to Tesfa often, as like a mentor, best friend, brother, I go by many titles, but Tesfa was the key part of it. I called him and I was like, yo man, I think I have the thing that we've been looking for all this time. The great business idea. Called him and I was like, yo, a food service for campus students. He loved the idea, wired me some money, and I made up the rest of the money and I went to buy a grill. Bought a grill, me, Rico and Andy put the grill together and we bought some rice, some beans and some chicken, and I had some jerk seasoning at home. So we cook and grill the chicken and everything. Rico reached out to a couple friends. I reached out to a couple friends. Andy reached out to a couple friends. And in the first day of the Jamaican Cafe creation, first it was called Taste Buds, but that was taken, so we had to do Jamaican Cafe. When Jamaican Cafe first day, we sold 8 meals, $80, $10 a meal, and that's where it started. So, that's really the story that I play over and over in my head. Like, I was just at lunch and an idea struck me and I decided to just capitalize on that idea, take that idea to the next level. We existed a year and a half before we were invited to be on campus. So when I started cooking and delivering food to students, started in Yang, just close friends, right? And when I moved off campus, me and Tespa started looking into how can we still provide meals to students on campus, and a food truck just seemed perfect. So this is where the great support from my mom came in. She was like, hey, here's the money to get you started there, and we used that money to acquire a food truck, and that is where we started delivering food to students. So Tespa was in White Plains. So in the beginning, I was the one that was really running it on the ground. I remember that I used to work at a restaurant, Ruby Tuesday, as a cook. I was a full-time student and I had this side hustle, right? At the time it was a side hustle. So I would go to school, then go to work, and I would start running Jamaican Cafe from Thursday to Sunday, 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. Every Thursday to Sunday, never failed. So come evening time, I would have the food cooked and orders would just start pouring in. Students just knew because we, word of mouth, and this kind of food was needed on campus. So the word of mouth just spread rapidly. So orders just start rolling in from 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. People would call us at 2 a.m. say, yo, I know it's late, man. Can you guys run another meal to campus? I'm like, no problem. And we did it. So we operated like that for a while, and it got heavy. It got so busy that, I had to reach out for help. And my other great friend, Ron, when he had any free time, he came over to give me that hand. He would be the one on the truck setting up the orders while I drive it to campus on the way back. As soon as I got back, he's like, yo, 5 more. And I would just drive back with those. So it's it got really heavy. So in a weekend, we were seeing, I think the most we ever did was like 22 orders in like the frame of 2 days. That was record for us. So it got really busy. But one day, I'm at home in Mount Vernon at the time, chilling with Tesfa. And then an email came in from Nadeem. Nadeem was the executive for FSA at the time. And I was a student, so I got that email that just went out to every student. And he was talking about like the food situation on campus. He knows that the students were satisfied with what's there. They weren't satisfied. So he said, we're looking to bring on more food options to satisfy the student body. So I showed Tesfa the email. Tesfa looked at me with a smile and I'm like, yo, this is it. This is it. So me and Tesfa wrote a letter, explaining who we are, what we did, and what we can provide to the student body at Stony Brook University. And I went to the FSA headquarters and in Westside Dining, and he wasn't there on the first day. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll come back. I went the second day and he wasn't there, and the guy at the front desk was like, hey, you sure you want to leave the letter that you have to give? I'm like, no, it's alright, I want to give it to him in his hand. When I went back the third day, as soon as I walked in through the door and said, my name is Kaden Davis of Jamaican Cafe and I've been coming here to see you, he's like, so you're the operator of Jamaican Cafe. He knew who I was. So apparently, like, the word was going around campus that there is just this food truck that's just running the place. And it got to him. And gave him the letter. And I sat down and, he glanced over the letter. But he was more interested in the conversation we were having. So told him what we can do, what we do currently number-wise, and the satisfaction everybody have. And he said, you know what? Can you meet me here Wednesday at 5 p.m.? So I was like, yes, of course. I had work that day at 5 to 10 p.m. I was like, yes, of course I can meet you here on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So Wednesday, I switched with somebody at worked the morning, got off, and I was there at 4:30 waiting. I was like, all right, I'm going to be here early, everything. So got to Eastside Dining, that's where we were going to meet at 5, at 4:30, and then Nadeem, Mike West, and Michelle met me at Eastside Dining. The building weren't operational at that time. So, they're the boss, they have the key. We go inside and they walk us to the empty spot of Island Soul. And Nadeem looked at me and said, we would like to make this place here Caribbean food. You provide that. You seem like you know what you're doing. Do you think you can do this? And I'm like, yes. I don't think I can. I know I can do this. Right? Just me. It's just me. So like, I didn't have a team, I didn't have the experience, nothing. But I was so confident in what I can do and who I am. I was like, you know what? Yes, I can do it. So it's like, all right, let's get it started. Let's do, like a show and tell of what we can do and all of that stuff. And, schedule the date and everything. As soon as I got out of that meeting, I called Tesfa and I was like, yo, I think you're going to have to quit your job and come to Stony Brook, bro. We just have the opportunity of a lifetime. And that he did. And here we are, 5 years later. We are still serving the Stony Brook campus. Thanks to Mike West and Nadeem and Michelle. They really paved the way and gave us an opportunity that we're so grateful for, but it wasn't without hard work. And we're definitely grateful for the opportunity of starting and still being here 5 years later.